In this session, we start with the macro view from Stephen Burke at ARS, and then dive into media and entertainment as Ken Halsman and Ivan Cohen talk about that landscape, the opportunities, the challenges. Dia Sagar from Lupa Systems and Gary Raskin join that discussion. And then we turn to sports. Neil Jones from KC TV5, Christophe Charlier, ex-chairman of Brooklyn Nets, Charles Way, former head of NFL player development, Adrian Starr of Starr Management. Then lead a discussion moderated by Wendy Kraft, talking about how sports is impacted by COVID-19 and future scenarios. And then we open it up for discussion. Please refer to important materials.
We're in the third wave, which is the Internet of Everything, and it's becoming such a big part of our lives, and it's about to hit an acceleration.
And companies involved in technology in our space and facilities are all going to be really great places to make investments because they're going to be on fire. There's a shortage of content, and everybody, once they figure out how to start making the movies and Netflix, and the TV shows, Netflix is already making product in Asia. There's going to be so much need for stages and post facilities and new technologies on ways to film, and it's going to be endless. Ivan, take it away.
Okay, if we can go to the next slide, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is what we're hearing in development for both film and for television. A lot of it is television focused because television is catching up to film in a lot of ways when it comes to that, which is seeing a lot of little changes that you as a fan won't notice, but people within the industries and people investing in the industries will notice. You're going to see a lot more straight to series orders. Networks lose between 50 and 110, 120 million dollars each year producing pilots that don't air anymore. In the theatrical, what we're hearing is a little bit different and really kind of interesting. Clearly, theatrical is not going to shut down. Movies are a part of not only our culture, but just about every culture. People want to take their dates, their kids, their families, their friends, and go see something and do something fun. So as the industry recovers, we're all looking like Fat Thor right now. And what we're going to be seeing, and we're already seeing, is the industry is beginning to reduce some bloat, which happens in all these downturns. MGM, as we move into production, we'll see that production will change some, not a whole lot to the viewers. The viewers will notice an increase in animation. They'll see an increase in movies that they don't believe are animation, but are mostly CGI and shot on green screens. If you go to the set, you're going to see fewer cameramen right there in front. They're going to be farther back with joysticks.
Kick off the discussion. Some of those concepts definitely apply to sports as well. Maybe not hair and makeup.
Yeah, sure. So I think there were so many ideas that were brought up by Ken and Ivan, and I think it's really interesting to see the way that things are going to progress. And ultimately, none of us really know the answer at the moment.
How do I see the world? We're in great limbo right now. It's so hard to say, and I think it's already been touched on as to what are going to be the protocols that are going to be put in place for productions to move forward. It's being negotiated. Who knows where it's all going to land? And you have to look at it across a very wide landscape. There are films that are and TV shows that are made for small budget, and then there are the in-betweens, and then there's huge budgets. And what those huge budgets can afford for protocols are very different from a $10 million film can afford. And the question is going to be,
but I've been in television sports for over 40 years. Grew up in television. My parents and grandparents were in TV, not in news. I went that direction. And so I've been I was down covering the Big 12 basketball tournament and was with some University of Kansas people when they made the call, we're canceling the tournament.
Into the sports world, as I used to be the chairman of the Brooklyn Nets. I managed the purchase by Michael Prokhorov of the New Jersey Nets back in 2010, was chairman for 2 years while we were in New Jersey building the arena in Brooklyn, and then the first 2 seasons in Brooklyn. So the 2 points I want to make today, following up on what Neil said, obviously the stopping of sports has been devastating for leagues around the world, whether it's basketball, it's Formula One, it's tennis, football, soccer, every single league has been hit. And what we've seen is that there's two different types of sports. So you've got the leagues where the players are assured a salary. Obviously the basketball, hockey, football, baseball, soccer. And then you've got the sports like tennis and golf where the athletes are not guaranteed a salary. So when the
to pick up on what Christoph and Neil were saying, I think the key to getting back to playing games ultimately comes down to player safety, and that's always been the key for any of the professional sports.
Are the leagues going to rebuild their net revenue? I mean, I've heard things like the stadiums can only be a quarter full. Maybe they'll be 50% full.
Luckily, most teams have started focusing on social media and figuring out how to develop their social media content to create a new revenue stream that'll kind of hopefully support to some extent the revenue they're losing from ticket sales.